Hi, I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and in this video I'm going to show you how to work with the game birds pattern. So this is a ringneck pheasant, but you can use the same pattern to also make a grouse or a quail or a lot of others of those kind of chicken-like ground birds. So before I get into showing you the details of how to put it together, I do want to show you a little bit about the pattern, the actual pattern pieces. So this is one of my mix and match patterns, which means that you can use the same pieces in a lot of different ways. And I'm going to show you at the end of this video all of the different options that I made. But right now I just wanted to show you what the pattern pieces look like because they're a little bit odd. And the odd thing is really the main body piece. So there's a few different options in here. Here I have the body piece with a top crest and with the back crest both on the piece. And what you'll want to do is cut away whichever ones of those you don't want to use. So if you have, like the pheasant has a little crest that comes off the back of his head, so I cut off the top crest. But you might want to leave the top crest and cut off the back crest, or cut off both of them, and you're going to see all of those options in this video. So another thing to keep in mind, this has got a line here and it says cut here to make head and body from different fabrics. So you would want to just cut that piece across that dotted line, and then, like this bird, you can use one color fabric for the head and another color for the body. But many game birds are the same color throughout. They don't have that contrasting head, and in that case, you would want to cut pieces 3 and 4 all as one piece. The other thing that's a little different here is there is a line that where you can cut the breast piece off. If you want to use this contrasting breast piece, you can cut this away just so that you're not having a double layer of fabric in there. So the pheasant does not have that, so I cut these pieces full. But again, you're going to see some examples, or you're going to see one example that does have a contrasting breast, this piece, and for that I cut away this piece and just ignored this part because this is going to lay right over this line. So just a quick overview of how to use this one variable piece in that pattern, and here is how you put all 3 of them together. Okay, this is the video showing you how to assemble the game bird if you do have a light box. So I've prepped all the pieces, which means cutting them out on the solid lines, but you don't need to worry about transferring any of the inner markings because you have the handy dandy placement guide with the light box. So one thing I do want to point out though, this is a mix and match pattern. So you have some options. On this one, I am making a grouse, and some grouse have a little crest on the top of their head, some do not. But the pattern also includes kind of a back of the head crest for a pheasant, and also the ability to do no crest. So on this one, for my grouse, you can see I cut off the back of the head crest, but I left the top of the head crest. Now, if you wanted one that was completely bareheaded, you would just cut on that line as well. The other thing, I'm going to do a contrasting breast on this, which is an option, but you don't have to do it. So on this one, I am going to do it. So I cut away the extra body piece behind this dotted line here. And this dotted line is if you want to make the head and the body different colors. So you'll see that at the end of this video in the ring-necked pheasant that I made. So we are going to start with piece number 1, which is the beak. I'm just going to put that in place. And then we are going to use piece 3-4. The pattern says 3-4 because we are using both of those as one piece. So I have separate placement guides for the 3 birds that I did as my samples, but you can use these pieces to make lots of other game birds. Like there are lots of different kinds of grouse and pheasant, quail. So I made a grouse and a pheasant and a quail, but there are varieties within those. There's a lot of different playing that you can do with the pieces. So now we're going to put the breast on, piece number 8. And that is just going to overlap that body piece. And then all we have left is the eye. So that is piece number 7. And you can get a lot of different varieties of bird with your fabric choices too. So some of them have a very smooth colored body and a very speckled breast, or vice versa. So just study some photographs of what you want to make and kind of duplicate that as best you can with the fabrics that you're able to find. So these are all blenders from my Grizzly Blenders collection that you can get on Spoonflower. All right, so that is the grouse. So I'm going to carefully lift up this mat. I'm going to carry it over to my ironing board, and I'm going to fuse everything in place right on the mat. I should have made it clear. I've got a light box, placement guide, silicone mat. So I'm going to fuse it right on the silicone mat, let it cool, and then I'm going to peel it off and fuse it to my background block. Then I'll do all the outline stitching, and then I'll come back here and show you this finished block as well as the other two birds that I made, so that you can see all three of the samples that I made, but then you also have the opportunity to do lots of different variations all on your own. All right, here is the finished ringneck pheasant. So this is just one of the options. This is the fanciest option, and that's why I showed it in the more detailed no light box video, so that you could see how to put all of those pieces in there. But I wanted to show you a couple of other options that you can make with the same pattern pieces. So this one is a grouse, and it's a particular variety of grouse that does have a crest on the top of its head. Some ruffed grouse have a crest on the top of their head, but not all of them. So whichever kind you want to make, either use that crest or leave it off, totally up to you. But you're going to get a lot of mileage out of the fabrics that you choose. That's just look at the kind of bird that you're trying to make and choose fabrics accordingly. So some of them have a much, much lighter breast. Some grouse are very uniformly colored throughout, and you would not use the contrasting breast then. Just kind of base it on the bird that you are making. I have one more example. So this one is a quail, and like the grouse, there are lots and lots of different kinds of quail that come in all different color variations. So this is one of the ones I chose that has a very smooth gray body, a very uniformly colored gray body. It doesn't have a contrasting breast, and it doesn't have the top crest or the back crest, but it does have this fancy, very, very fancy top knot that that most quails have, that little bit. But as far as the rest of the body, the coloration is going to be whatever kind of quail you are trying to make. And that's what I love about a mix and match pattern, is that you can make a lot of different things with just one single pattern. So that is 3 examples, just 3 kinds of birds that you can make with the Game Birds pattern. And I hope you have fun making your own. I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and I will see you next time.